good evening, and welcome to Forge. I'm your host, The Wild Man. This is my co-host, DJ Tiano. DJ?
Hey, yo, it's the bad guy. My
So,
wrestling fans out there will get that one.
there you go. So I know it's only been 3 days. How you been?
Good, man. According to my personality, I'm very turbulent.
Oh,
It's been a turbulent
I'm
last 3
judgy.
days.
I'm judgy. I'm judgy.
If you guys are wondering what we're talking about, this week's episode is personality. It's episode number 14. It's Wednesday, March 31st. We're going to dial it back to last week's episode with the quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. Success has always been a great liar. Elaborate, wild man.
Sure. What I get from that is because everybody views success differently, you get what you may think will make you happy. Because most people just see success, money, cars, women, house, boom. But they don't decide what exactly makes them. They don't stop and think, all right, what do I need to make me happy? Truly make me happy. They just go for the money, the cars, the women, and the house.
They use other people's success and examples
So
to their success, to their definition of
So
success.
sometimes they get the car. They might get a trophy girl or get a girl, but a few years down the line, they lose the house. They lose the girl. They end up with some Ponzi scheme and they're not happy because they didn't think, who am I? What makes me happy?
Mhm.
Not just money, cars, women, house.
So I got a good way for them to figure out who they are. Personality test.
Yes.
So this week being personality, I did a little bit of research as usual. I came across personality tests, which I
Yes.
didn't know were really a thing.
Well,
I mean,
you found a real personality test, not like those blanket ones.
No, not
because you can.
not like the ones that are on Facebook where you answer 3 questions and it tells you who you are. Because you do those, if you do the same one 3 times and over, you're never gonna get the same answer. So it's obviously just it's
Apparently, I'm an artistic psychopath who likes to be a teacher on the weekends.
false. Would you like to share? But anyway, anyhow, so there's a few staple personality tests that are really world renowned. One is the Myers-Briggs test. This one happens to be a lady and a daughter.
Okay.
In the early 1900s, I believe. This woman, she had 3 kids. 2 of them died as infants, and she had 1 daughter
Okay.
left. So, pretty much like how we are now, stuck in the house. She's stuck in the house all the time with her daughter, and seeing that she's seen how fragile life was, she looked into doing an experiment with her daughter and figuring out throughout the years as her daughter grew up, her personality traits. She
Okay.
literally went in pen and pad, wrote down like a daily, she's this, she's that, she's doing this. As she's gotten older, she marked, did all these marks,
Yeah.
and she came up with this test.
Gotcha.
And there's others that have preceded it. I hear the big five is one of them. I have barely looked into that because
Okay.
the Myers-Briggs seem legit enough for me to stay course, and they offer a free one on the internet.
Yes, they do.
So if you're not on Forge's Forge Podcasts group page on Facebook, we highly recommend that you go and hit the like button on that.
Highly.
And we posted a link to the personality test, and it's I don't know how many questions, but it's short. You can finish it up, wrap it up in about 5 minutes or so, and there are generalized questions asked, and you have about 5 options. You have are you this or aren't you this, and then in between you got maybe you're in the middle of it, maybe you're on the fence about it, or you lean one way but not all the way.
Yeah.
And you answer these as honest as you can, as we did, and then you come up with your answer of
Yes.
what you are. And following our quote from Friedrich Nietzsche, I'm probably butchering it
You
every
are.
time I say it.
It's Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
Well,
However, he
let's
kind of
hope it
came
is.
up with his own system. Obviously, if you guys
Okay.
don't know who he is, he's a philosopher, one of the greatest minds in history. They label him. Many of the philosophers will tell you that, and he kind of put this up against the personalities of Greek gods. So on one side you got Apollo,
Okay.
and the other side you got Dionysus. Okay, and Apollo is the recreational, conscious, responsible side, and Dionysus is the instinctual, subconscious, and emotional side. Apollo, god of sunlight, music, poetry, healing, plagues, prophecy, knowledge, order, and beauty. Where on the other side you got god of resurrection, protector of those who do not belong to consensual society, symbolizing the chaotic, dangerous, unexpected, and everything that escapes human reason.
Ooh.
So later in history,
Mm-hmm.
please excuse me for rambling, but I found this to be very interesting,
Hey, go
and I'm sure
ahead.
many of you guys will too. You can compare this to Taoism's yin and yang.
Ah, okay.
There's a strong analogy between the two gods of the duality of the yin and yang. One is the Apollo being the yang, and Dionysus being the yin. And in order to live a successful life,
Mm-hmm.
Nietzsche, to have a balanced life, he said that you need to be like both of them. So
Okay.
it's channeling the balance that we always talk
Speaking
about.
of your yin and yang, and I know how much you like to read, I read a book a long, long ago. I've read it twice so far. I think you should check it out. It's called The Tao of Pooh.
Tao
Okay.
of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh. You know who Winnie the Pooh is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically talks about all the characters in that whole,
Yeah.
whatever his name is, Christopher Robin's
Yeah.
little forest.
So
and
you
all
got
that.
Pooh and you got
Yeah,
Eeyore.
Tigger,
Are
Eeyore,
these like subconscious characters of Peter or whatever his name was?
Christopher Robin.
Christopher
Well, no,
Robbins.
they talk about how it wasn't until now that all of a sudden now he's a psychopath. He's got multiple personalities or whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, of each of all the little animals, it just talks about how this one's depressed, this one's this, blah 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 blah, and Pooh just is.
Gotcha.
He just flows. It's kind of you could almost it's kind of Tai Chi-ish.
Yeah.
Check it out. It was a very interesting book. How each one of the characters are always this.
What's that again? I'm gonna write that
Tao
down.
of Pooh.
Tao of Pooh.
Tao of and then Pooh.
Cool.
Not poop. It's not about poo.
I will definitely
But
check that
it is.
out.
It was a good book. I mean, if I'm reading it twice, especially
Yeah.
psychological or philosophical, then it's got to be good.
Yeah. So just to wrap up kind of my notes on what I had of Nietzsche, he said you have to have balance.
Yes.
You have to be like Apollo, organized, responsible, and logical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you need to leave the room. You need to leave room, like Dionysus, for your artistic side, your creative side, and your emotional side.
Yes.
So most of the time, we don't know what our personality is. We only project what we think our personality is, and then others perceive us how they see us.
Mm-hmm.
But we tend to battle within ourselves to really figure out who we are, what our personality is, and why is this all. Why are we bringing this on the podcast? Because personality is a huge trait in success.
It is.
And what Nietzsche said was that
He's gonna
basically
come back to life every time you
and-
butcher
yeah,
his
every-
name. He's gonna mess you.
how do you say it, bro?
I believe it's Nietzsche, unless it's
Nietzsche?
a completely different
No, you're
guy.
probably right. You're probably
Well,
right.
nobody
I
ever
called him
said-
Frederick last week,
Called
so
him Frederick. I've never heard his first name.
I'm horrible with that. And you think I would be good because I'm
Never.
a DJ
So
and I
you
gotta
could-
introduce people and call out their names in front
Hey.
of crowds.
Hey, Bob. My name is Sue. Whatever.
Whatever, Frederick. Fall in line.
I've never heard his first name. I've never looked him up.
Yeah,
So
it's fried rich. It's literally like fried food and rich.
fried rice.
The fried food is rich. That's how I'm gonna remember it from now on. But basically to
You're
end
going to hell.
fried riches,
That's awesome.
to end the conversation on fried rich, he basically says our personal battle is one of if you're like Apollo,
Mm-hmm.
you usually cancel out the Dionysus side
Okay.
of yourself, and vice versa.
Okay.
The more chaotic people, the more people that live like chaotic and don't care
Mm-hmm.
about anything, they're more likely the Dionysus, and they
Okay.
don't allow the Apollo, the organized, the responsible, the logical side of them, make
Gotcha.
human reason.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So basically, to really shine light on it, you have to embrace your inner chaos, learn to explore it, and listen to your intuition and feelings. So,
Okay. This sounds good.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. It's almost kind of like I DJ and I talked briefly a little bit about this either as he was showing me his book he wrote for tonight's episode. He said that we could almost bring this back to this section with the two wolves.
Yeah, absolutely.
The good, are you the good wolf or are you the bad wolf? You got to have that balance
Yeah.
because, well,
Yeah,
you just need the balance.
the way you explained it, how sometimes you let the bad wolf take over
Yes.
for the good of the good wolf.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense. So, for example, sometimes we're too organized
Mm-hmm.
and don't leave enough room for creative moments, or for inspiration, or enough time for the chaotic, and we lack structure sometimes because we let the other side of our personality dominate
yeah.
the other side.
That's
So
why you
yeah,
need that's why you need balance between them both. People always say that, like we said before. It's whichever one you feed most. Well, you need balance.
yeah,
You need balance in here, so that okay, this is who I am, this is what I want. Before you can forge a better version of yourself. See, you like how I turned our name and all that? It was nice.
yeah, yeah.
But we need that.
And also to revisit last episode, we talked a lot about meditation.
Yes.
And meditation brings that balance to you.
It does.
So whenever if you guys are not familiar with meditation out there, I'm sure you've all seen the diagram of the person sitting there with all the chakras and the different colors
Yeah.
moving up the center of the body.
Mm-hmm.
That is essentially you're focusing on those things as you're meditating, and you're bringing the balance to your brain, you're bringing the balance to your breathing, you're bringing the balance to just overall clearing your mind and
Yes.
being more receptive to everything else around you. So,
No, undoubtedly. That's a great poster, by the way.
yeah,
As
yeah.
a nice focus piece. So, what
Maybe
you're
we
thinking of
need-
why you
Maybe we need to
meditate
get one hanging up over here.
until you have an out of body experience, and then you trip out a little bit, and then you use it as each one of those chakras as a target for your knife throwing. And then it's an awesome one, but it doesn't last very long. But at least it was outside and not in the house because Mom would have whooped my ass.
Right. So I proposed the question: how do we know what our personality is? I found a quote from a gentleman, Carl Jung.
Okay.
Hopefully, I didn't butcher that. It's kind of easy. I guess he was somebody who applied a lot of knowledge to the personality tests, or had some.
To this test that we both
Not
took,
this
or just
exact
in general?
one. I think in general.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he came before or after Miss Myers or Briggs or whatever her name was.
Okay.
But he proposed this quote. He said, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you who you are." That's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of us don't know who we are.
This
We
is
let
true.
others around
And if-
us kind of,
If you don't know, you turn into the sheep.
yeah.
You just follow. Okay, I'm this. This is what I'm. Okay.
I mean, it's a very awkward thing to go around and asking people, "Hey, what do you think my personality is?" Or how do it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And there's only a few select times in your life that this actually comes about. So the only one that I can think of, which I'm completely transparent on this podcast, as everybody knows, I never graduated high school, so
Okay.
I never got the luxury of this. I very rarely even showed up in the yearbooks. So, but one of the examples would be in a yearbook where people, you ask people who you are or what you were like, and when they sign your book at the end of the year, they usually tell you, what they thought of you, or something maybe that you lacked, or something you were really good in. But outside of that, not too many people ask, the first few
Yeah.
times I met you, I wasn't like, hey, Brandon, what do you think my personality's like? You know, it's kind of an awkward thing. So that's why it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to really figure yourself out.
I thought you were quiet when I first met you. Very quiet.
A lot of people think that. And
Well,
this
no,
is
but you
actually,
didn't talk to me. Not a lot.
I don't talk to a lot of people
Yeah.
because when I do talk, I have a lot to say. And I feel like sometimes people don't want to hear because I'm not one to talk about, hey, how's the weather,
Oh, no,
and
that's
things like
boring.
that. Once I open up conversation, it's on, man. I
There
got
you
the
go.
gift of gab, and chances are that's what makes me, a good DJ. And it's what makes me. I don't know if I would say we're pretty good at this podcast thing, but it's what makes me
Well,
open up to everybody.
what are
So
we? 14?
13 episodes,
in.
and
So
we're gaining traction
I
all
think
over the world.
we're pretty good. I think we're doing good.
We have reached India now.
That's awesome.
I have just spoken with somebody this morning via Zoom. As the screen was loading up, it said I was crossing the ocean, which was pretty cool. I've never virtually crossed the ocean.
That's
For that
awesome.
matter, I've never crossed the ocean, period.
Okay.
But I had a nice conversation with her. We're probably going to bring her on. She has a podcast.
Yes.
She called herself a soul coach. I'm not quite sure what that is. We're going to
Okay.
have to get her on the podcast, and we'll have to ask her.
Sounds good.
So,
All right.
But going back to our personality,
Yes.
how do we figure out, before
Before you
I
take a
enlightened
test?
you with the option of taking the
Oh,
test?
before the test, I was. I would say. I mean, personally, I just. Well, I did a lot of things. I mean, What would I be happy? I mean, I read a book. Don't ask me what it was. I don't remember. It was probably some personality or who you are book. And it's, how can I find out who I am? Well, you got to find out what makes you happy. That's a start. All right. So, okay. So what makes me happy? Well, we can't answer that for you. You got to go out and you got to find something that makes you
Yeah.
happy. So you go through, it's mostly trial and error. Now we hope most of us, well, I think probably everyone hopes that they find who they are before you're about 30. You hope.
Yeah.
Does it happen? No. I mean, we can see General Cross. Some people don't really find out what they want to do until they're about like 35, 40.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And hence why our demographics show that the strong demographic for our podcast is 35 to 45.
mhm.
I feel like the younger the people are, they're not looking, they're looking to
They
have a
want to
great
live.
time. They
Yeah,
want to
they want to
live.
live.
And as you get older, you feel like you lived it up. And then you need to realize, okay, now I'm either going to sit in a box and do nothing with my life, or I'm going to go out and find who I am, what I am, find out how to be successful. Hence, why we do this. We're all trying to lift each other up and figure all this stuff out.
Gotcha.
So, our lives are shaped profoundly just as much through our personalities as it is through our gender,
mm-hmm.
realistically. And I think people really need to start grasping who they are. So,
Yes.
if you haven't already taken a test like this before, if you're looking for somewhere to take this test, again, the link will be up on our page, on our Facebook group page. Again, if you're not on that, go ahead and go find that. Just search Forge Podcast, and we'll like that. So, where are we at here?
Sorry, just a little technical. I didn't want to make sure that
we got these new spiffy mics, and
yeah, we went XLR. We got a mixer that's hidden on. We got cords.
yeah.
And
So
everything,
if I talk a little bit too much, you can turn me off over there with that
little
little
loud.
nifty technology thing you got over there. So yeah. So back to the personality test. If you haven't taken one, and we are all constantly on our phones, it'll take you 10. Not even 10 minutes, I don't think. You can search it up.
no more than 10 minutes. I wasn't
Yeah,
paying attention. But
I think it was about
like,
5 minutes at most.
Was it like 20, 25 questions, something like that?
Yeah,
maybe.
they're a group
But-
of generalized questions. You can find it at 16personalities.com. Just search Myers and Briggs free personality test, and it'll pop up.
Was good stuff, and it hit it. To be honest, it hit pretty much on the nail. I mean,
And in our group where people have partaken in the
oh no,
test.
I mean for me.
No, I know,
Okay.
and I'm just saying everybody who did partake in the
Mhm.
test on our site and posted their results, that was the general idea of it. That
Gotcha.
it did hit the nail on on the
Nice.
head
Yeah.
for everybody. So
It wasn't like one of those tarot cards readings that you get where it's just
yeah,
generalization.
I came across something saying these tests are pretty legit.
Hmm.
If you find yourself having to pay for tests that are similar
Yeah.
like that, then you're probably most likely getting duped. That's what they said.
When you have to pay for them.
Yeah, I mean, because
Okay.
there's so many free testing out there.
Yeah.
It's just another, cash grab.
Yeah.
Which you can't
That's
knock it.
no,
Get
no,
out and
not when
make your
you.
money.
I mean, it's it got me pretty good, pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So
So what these personality tests kind of do,
mhm.
it answers questions like who are we, what are we capable of, what are we good at. These are all really big questions, and by taking these tests, it kind of answers them for us.
Mhm.
Um, it actually allows us to figure out who we are without our own, biased.
Yeah.
And then it allows you to apply your results to figuring out who you really are and
Yeah.
what you really
I would
can
agree.
be
Yeah.
successful at.
If you really don't know at least a little bit about yourself, and I need a start point. This could help. Okay, I do this, or I do this, I do this. Not so much this, but a little bit. Boom, boom. You answer the questions, and it could give you a starting point if you are lost.
Yeah, yeah. I've read many places that personality testing could be the key to unlocking the life that you really want to live.
Hmm.
I mean, because it again, it allows you to see who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you answer those questions 100% honest to do your belief that those are honest. I mean, I even thought sometimes I had to sit there for a few times and I was like, am I really like that or am I not really like that? It was actually kind of cool, I thought. It was actually opening up my brain a little bit, making me think a little bit. So,
All right, now DJ, when when you're out, let's just say in general, when you're out and you're looking to make new friends because we all want friends.
mhm.
We don't need a lot. Where we're trying to get it was something you only have like two or three because we're trying to be the better versions of ourselves.
Even the small circles
Yeah,
crumble.
this is true. So, do you feel that you need to change who you are to fit in with either a group of people or with certain people?
Interesting you asked that question. Because I consider myself a chameleon in a
Okay.
sense because I can conform to the room. I could
Okay.
conform to the circle of people that are in the room.
Okay.
It's not so much the deep rooted who I am that I'm
Okay.
changing. Um, I have a group of friends where we have, the old ways of slang that we used to talk.
Hmm.
And once I enter that room, the slang takes over.
Okay.
And it's not this
I've
proper speaking me. It's, it's,
I've heard it. I've heard it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got you. I remember.
And it has nothing to do with trying to be who I'm not.
Okay.
It's maybe who I used to be, and
Okay.
it's kind of uncontrollable. I've seen this in other people too. This is
Hmm.
not something.
No, it's not select to you.
Yeah, it's not select to me. So yes, I believe that people do conform their personalities. Um,
No, okay. I'm sorry. I was not that they do. Do you feel that people should
that all
change your personality or who you are to fit into a group?
that all depends on what they want out of life. I mean,
Okay.
if you just want to go and hang out and chill and shoot the shit,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Chances are you're gonna just be around a group of people who don't have the drive, that are just looking to chill, like the younger crowd we speak of.
Because
That are looking to live their
I've
life.
talked to people and they say, "Well, I have like multiple groups of friends. When I'm with this group, I'm like this. When I'm with this group, I'm like this. This group, so and so forth down the road." And my question is, why? Well, what do you mean? And I was like, well, maybe it's just me. I'm a very strong-willed individual. I'm my way. I'm like this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The only time, I mean, something really changes is the filter around with little kids
Yep.
and older people. Until I get a sense of how they are, I'm still going to be respectful. I still bust balls, but I'm a little more respectful when it comes to my elders.
Yeah.
But I'll still, bust balls. But I'm still me. I don't stop acting me just to fit in somewhere.
So we've heard of multiple personality disorder.
Ooh,
It could be a disorder.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it could just be just something that, like I said, like you have an old group of friends, you had an old way of talking, you have an old way of being, and that comes out when you get around these people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily like, hey, I'm changing just to be cool.
Yeah.
It's like this is how we interacted, and that's our.
So you could fit in and feel. Yeah.
You're stepping into
niche. That movie Split, where that guy had like 20 some multiple personalities.
I gotta get around to watching that because I only watched a portion of it.
Okay.
Again, I've kind of really dialed back on watching TV.
I pick more of my shows now.
Yeah.
But that one you might, because that would be a great little thing about what you just said.
Yeah.
With tying in, because all his personalities, because he had female ones.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I'd like to find it. I've read psychology books before. I was told read this, and now some people get mad because I have, and I hit them with the psychology, and they're like, yeah, because a lot of it works, even though it's what you a weak science or whatnot they would call it. So some people call it. But each personality came out due to some situation
the environment
that he was dealing with, and this person came out to either protect him or help him get through it.
Which I've told you in past episodes, I feel like environment controls a lot of circumstance
nature versus nurture.
Circumstance controls a lot of how we make decisions and things like that. Like I told you when I was younger, I made bad decisions, and it wasn't until I got older that was eye-opening that I was making the wrong decisions because I was just conforming and I was trying to.
That's what you knew.
Yeah, that's my environment. So I see nothing wrong with it. So whereas some cities you see there's more violence and stuff and like that because that's their environment. That's what they're used to.
That's what they need. That's what they have to be to survive. And yes.
And I mean, we could get really deep into that. You'll hear it from a lot of people that government has controlled this through the years with gentrification and things like that. Epiphany.
Well, what you just said with the gentrification, I was reading an article on Facebook that, where's the town? Is it in Chicago? I forget where it was. There is a town in one of the states in the U.S. that practice segregation. They put it into a law. White houses over here. Well, white people over here. And I'm guessing everybody else, or like Spanish, black folk. I was
flabbergasted.
Oh my God! I was.
So
what the hell?
Early on in the segregation years and all that stuff, they made sure that certain people were not allowed in.
Yeah, I know. I was told that they were like when they come to a salesperson, they're show them these houses.
We have towns within our city.
In Rochester?
Yeah.
No.
Not
where white people don't live. I know they raise the price.
Where they do whatever they can to
divert
certain walks of life so that it can predominantly be one way and one way only.
Yeah.
And we've had government officials come out from one of these towns. I'm not even going to go into specifics and put anybody on blast. Yeah. But he's pretty much came out and said, this was the old way, and we are working on changing that. Yeah. And I believe that is definitely a key to the future of us getting along. And
I've been asked before, how would you feel if so-and-so or so-and-so live here? I said, as long as they keep their yard clean, I don't care.
I don't even care about that.
Well, I just don't want
I get it, I get it.
like
But you know, to be honest with you, it's their yard. They own the property.
that's true.
It's up to them. I could understand it could be an eyesore and
Yeah.
things
Well,
like
see, that's the
that.
thing. You don't want. I see. I don't think people think they don't want an eyesore because it brings the value of their
Yeah,
property. I
absolutely.
don't care.
I don't think it has
That's
to
not
do
mine.
with.
I just don't want to drive by and like, come on, dude, pick that
A lot
up.
of people are judgy, like
Yeah.
yourself,
Oh yeah, according to my thing, I am judgy.
according to
You
your
know,
personality test.
but it's
No,
like
I'm just joking with that.
no,
But
that's fine. But I just like I don't want the crime because when you go to a certain place, you act a certain way.
mhm.
Okay, that's my thing. If you're gonna come out in public, act like you got some sense.
To tie this into our episode, personality again,
Yeah.
your environment can create your personality.
Yes,
If
you're
is
very well
that
said,
who
yes.
is that who you really are deep down? Do you go home? Do you take that gangster persona home with you? You know what I mean? I've had somebody tell me, and this doesn't have to do with any color or race or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, if anybody out there is thinking that this has nothing to, I heard somebody tell me, and it always has stuck with me. It's got to be awfully hard to create that gangster persona and hold it together and stay like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a
It's so they can
job. It's got to
survive.
be a job in their own.
Oh yes,
You know?
mentally taxing.
Yeah. And I'm not talking any race, any, certain walk of
Mm-hmm.
life. I mean, because gangsters could be any kind of.
Well, I mean, if we just take yes, it doesn't matter. There's
I
no
mean, the
color.
30s,
There's
there
no
was the
color.
mob, the gangsters.
Like
You
Morgan
got
Freeman
guerrilla.
said,
Yeah.
let's stop talking about race. I won't call you a
I
black
hate
man. You won't
racism.
call
I
me a
hate it
white
with a
man.
passion.
You are a name. You have a name. You're a human.
Yeah.
That's my thing. You're a human. I don't. This whole the black race, the right. No, there is no race.
Yeah.
There is no color. We're all humans.
Yeah.
That's it. We all bleed. We can all die. You're a human.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. But to digress, because we kind of got off topic,
It's okay.
but
It's
that's
all right.
okay because
Yeah.
that's what podcasts are aimed to do, and it feels more natural. And this
We
might
just answered
this
3 questions that I have without it, so we're good.
without asking,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but this might be adding value to someone's day or
Yes.
someone's listening and whatnot.
Value,
So,
value.
but we are gonna bring it back to personality, okay?
Yes.
So there was this gentleman earlier on in the YouTube days. His name is Frank James. I seen this in a documentary. He was a very depressed, anxious, lacked sleep
Mm-hmm.
individual,
Mhm.
and they showed his first a snippet of his first video,
Okay.
and he basically went on YouTube and started. It was like 4 in the morning. You could see him looking back at the time and telling you what time it is. I can't sleep. I'm so anxious and depressed at the same time. So he basically was like one of the first personality people on YouTube.
Okay.
Now you go on YouTube, just like ourselves with podcasts and stuff like that. You're seeing these personality things grow.
Mm-hmm.
With our social media, we're extending our personalities through our social media. We're extending our personalities through our YouTube videos. You got people that just go on and make videos and talk. Like, it doesn't
I
necessarily
eat a
mean.
chicken sandwich.
Yeah, But this gentleman went on,
Yeah.
and he was interested. His first notion of doing that, his first reason for doing this, was to get his story out there, and he was asking the people,
Mm-hmm.
is there anybody else out there like me?
Yeah.
Are other people experiencing what I'm going through? So he did a personality test. He ended up being an INFJ. What that means, we'll get to that in a second. And I do believe. Let me check my.
Is that what I am?
No, I highly doubt it because I do believe that INFJ is the rarest personality. It makes up for 2% of the population.
Gotcha.
So if you are that,
No.
that would be pretty crazy.
The hell am I? I'm a ESTJ.
I'm a ENFP. I'm a protagonist.
I'm an executive.
Oh, well, when you gonna start getting the dough rolling in over here, Mr. Executive? But anyway,
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
so yeah, so that was
Mhm.
the point of him taking the personality test,
Okay.
and they showed his videos after he started opening up to society and asking these questions and figuring himself out, and you can see his personality changing. You can see the confidence growing.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him being less depressed. You can see him being less anxious because he was finding people like himself throughout the world. So you ask yourself, like, why are these personality tests? What's the purpose of them? How can they benefit us?
Mm-hmm.
Um, as stated before, it allows you to see who you really are without your mental bias about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because we tend to lie to ourselves, so who we
Yes.
really are.
Yes.
Our perception is completely different of the person that we really, really, really are.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. So, again, there's 16 personalities,
Mm-hmm.
um, and depending on your personality, you find other people that are similar in personality with
Mm-hmm.
you, and you're more likely to mesh. You're more likely to be social. You're more likely to click.
So then you would say instead of being able to change your personality to a certain thing, that you just become more confident and realize that you're not alone, that there are people out there that are just like you or just like me.
Or allows you to work on the after you read. I mean, there's a lot of,
Oh, I
as
know.
we just went through. I think I only touched 8%, and you only touched 2% of the content they give you after
Yes.
you do this personality
All for
test,
free.
all
All
for
for
free.
free.
And
Yeah.
it breaks it down to parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we see on there? Work environment.
Strengths and weaknesses. It gives you an introduction, strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood,
Career
career paths,
paths.
workplace habits. Then you get your conclusion. And
Yep.
then if you want to pay for it, they've got a premium profile. But he gets a lot of stuff without the premium.
So just to put it in, just to put it so people out there can understand how precise these things actually are, I'm just going to read a slight paragraph of what I am. The first paragraph of what I am, a protagonist.
Okay.
We are natural born leaders. We're full of passion and charisma. Definitely me. We form about, again, oh, look at this. We're about 2% of the population as well. They are oftentimes our politicians, our coaches, our teachers, reaching out to inspire others. Ding, ding. What do you guys see there? I'm on this podcast literally every week trying to lift others up with my host here, the Wild Man. Um, we're looking to it says, we're looking to inspire others to achieve and do good in the world with a natural confidence that begets influence. Protagonists take a great deal of pride and joy in guiding others to work towards improving themselves and their community.
Look at that.
Boom, look at that.
Look
That's
at
like the
that.
whole premise for our podcast, which is crazy. And then we got you over there on the other hand, which you do want to lift people up as well, but you're looking to be the driving force behind this and
Yes.
make it, monetize it, and make a brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you come in.
I want to do that, but all right, here we go. There was DJ's little slice.
Yeah, let's hear what you got.
All right, so my slice is executives are representatives of the tradition and order, utilizing their understanding of what is right, wrong, and socially acceptable to bring families and communities together. We embrace the values of honesty, dedication, and dignity. People with the executive personality type are valued for their clear advice and guidance, and they happily lead the way on difficult paths. Taking pride in bringing people together, executives are often take on roles as community organizers, working hard to bring everyone together in celebration and cherished local events or in defense of traditional values that hold families and communities together.
So essentially, putting us two on this pedestal in front of all of you guys, trying to lift you guys up. You got two different personalities
Mm-hmm.
with the same goals in mind,
Yeah.
and there's just different traits
Mm-hmm.
of us that are slightly different, and in some aspects are greatly different.
Mm-hmm.
And but you can see that just because we're not the same personality doesn't mean you can't mesh,
No, not at
but
all.
it allows us to see who you are,
Yeah.
true form, and allows to see who I am, true form. Now, what do we do with this? We can walk away with this
And do nothing.
and do nothing, or we
Mm-hmm.
can target these things, which will help lift ourselves up. Or whoever's out there listening and doing
Mm-hmm.
this test, it allows you to see the stuff that you're blind to about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and it allows you to work on these things.
Yes.
A good example would be I've talked, actually, a few people have commented,
Mm-hmm.
and I've talked to a few people this week about these personality tests.
Okay.
And these are people who work for smaller companies,
Mm-hmm.
people who work for large companies,
Yeah.
corporate America.
Okay.
These are all different types of people.
Uh-huh.
And so basically, what these businesses do, they issue these tests, and they issue the tests so that they can evaluate their employees and put themselves where they belong within their company to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you got boss man over here. He issues the test. He finds out who this person is, what their strong traits are, and then that allows him to hand select what position he takes within the company.
Okay.
Therefore, putting the strongest, personality
Mm-hmm.
in that position to thrive and make his company better.
Okay.
There's a building in San Francisco
Okay.
that every floor has a meditation room, and the meditation rooms are so that people can clear their brain
Mm-hmm.
and figure out who they are and
Be more
use
productive at
and
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay.
you can see how you can apply this to success.
Oh yeah.
So
That's good stuff. I
yeah,
like that.
I'm gonna
See?
get into so when you take these tests, you end up with 5 initials, right?
Okay.
5 letters.
Yes.
So the first letter would either be an I or E, which means introvert or extrovert.
We know what I got.
Okay, the next one would be surprising enough, I always felt I was both,
Okay.
and that's where I fell 50-50.
Really?
But it slightly leaned me to extrovert, which maybe in my early years I was shy and bashful,
Mm-hmm.
but now in my later years I do see myself as a little bit more of an extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a DJ, I'm in front of crowds, I'm on a microphone, I'm talking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a podcast, I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
When I see people daily, come across daily people like
Mm-hmm.
fast food line, I'm
Yeah.
talking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how I always was. My father always said, I can't believe you're a DJ. I never thought that you, little shy, bashful Ray, would be out here talking to people like this. You know what I mean? So the next initials would be N or S, intuitive or sensing,
Ah.
sensory. Next one would be a F or a T, feeling or thinking.
Okay.
Next one would be J or a P, judging or perceiving. Um, yeah, and like I said, the INFJ, which would be the introvert, intuitive, feeling, and judging is the rarest personality.
Okay.
And then generally you get a dash with a or a T.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Turbulent and assertive.
Yes.
So hence ENFJ for me.
Hold on a sec. You said these letters. That's where. Well, I got. Why does it say ESTJ, but yet, for when it talks about me, it says someone who is extroverted. Yes.
Hmm.
But it says observant, thinking, and judging. What's the S?
Sensing.
I don't have an S, even though it says ESTJ-A.
Well, then you have
I have observant.
observant is not one of the that must come along with
With
different
sensing,
aspect.
maybe?
Yeah.
Because it says observant.
Yeah, sensing. I don't know.
It's weird.
You
but
read.
okay.
I think the more you read into it, it gives
You'll
you
understand.
so on the main page,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you so on one side it'll have either trait, and then it'll have the bar in the middle telling you what
Yes,
percent
yes.
of it you are.
Because I'm
So
75%
I mean,
extroverted.
even though you may lean to one side,
Mm-hmm.
so right here it says extroverted 53%, introverted 47%.
Okay. Oh,
So I'm
you're
kind of in.
almost right in the middle.
I am, and that's how I see myself, which is
Okay.
mind blowing. This is that accurate. I feel.
That's cool. All right.
So but it does say observant down here too. So I
Ah.
think that there may be a cross pattern of different personality tests. As you posted earlier, there was
Yes, different ways that
yeah
they
subcategories. I
yes,
think
different
so.
subcategories
That's
that mean the same thing. They just use different words.
yeah.
Yes.
There's you know what I'm
Yes,
going where I'm going with it.
exactly. Synonymous.
Yeah, synonymous.
Ah.
Sometimes I just can't get it out. So one thing I'm gonna do really quick is just run down the different kinds
Of what?
personalities,
Oh,
the
okay.
16
All
different
right.
kinds.
I'm just gonna run
Um,
down.
yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's just a short description of
take the
each one of
test
them.
after he runs down, or when you see this episode, we would like you to take the test. We want send it into the YouTube, to the Facebook, to the group that DJ threw up for us. Send it in that. We'd love the feedback. Send us the
Yeah,
feedback.
we are getting a lot of feedback. We
We
are
are.
absolutely getting a lot of feedback.
I'm just still
And
working on notifications for the Gmail, because I know there's a few people have written to us in there, and I do check it, but
the
I don't check it. If
notifications,
I don't get a
yeah,
notification, I might not check it every day.
yeah, that's cool
So
though. I mean, we got multiple different ways. If you can't get us
yes,
one way, you'll get us the other.
yes.
So you got the architect, imaginative, strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. You got a logician,
Ooh.
innovative, inventors with unquenchable thirst for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You got commander, bold, imaginative, and strong-willed. You got a debater, smart and curious thinkers who cannot resist intellectual challenge. You got advocates, quiet and mystical, yet very inspiring and tireless idealist. You got a mediator,
Mm-hmm.
poetic, kind, people always eager to help for a good cause.
Okay. Okay.
All right. You have a protagonist, me, charismatic, inspiring leaders able to mesmerize their listeners. Would you look at that?
Ooh, mesmerized.
Am I mesmerizing you guys out there? Man, I'm
Not,
tongue-tied today.
not right now. You're not.
You got a campaigner,
Okay.
enthusiast, creative, and sociable, free spirits who always find a reason to smile. A logistician, a practical and fact-minded individuals, reliable and cannot be doubted. Defender, very dedicated and warm protectors, always ready to defend their loved ones. Executive, that would be you, sir. Excellent administrators, unsurpassed at managing things. You got console.
That's all we get. That's it. We're unsurpassed in managing things. I'm taking
There's
it.
more to it. These are just brief
I'm
descriptions.
taking the test again.
Because if I sat there and wrote everything down,
Oh no, that's fun. But
we would be
everybody
here for
else gets
3
some
hours.
cool things. Like
Yeah. Console, extraordinary, caring, social, and popular, always eager to help.
Okay.
Talking about that's all you get, cool things. So at
Don't
the
do
bottom
it.
of this
Don't
test,
do it.
at the bottom of this test, it tells you celebrities or people, historic people who are like
same
yourself,
personality.
the same personality. And I got some pretty cool people. And Brandon over here, well,
I got fake people. Boromir from Lord of the Rings. He died in the first one. Ming, yeah. But I did get Frank.
Matrix. I got both Morpheus and
God.
what was the Oracle.
Yeah. All she did was cook cookies. They were good, but
With magic spoons. We got virtuoso, bold and
Okay.
practical experimenters, masters of all kinds of tools. Adventurer, flexible and charming artist, always down to explore. Entrepreneurs, smart, energetic, very perceptive, like to live on the edge. Entertainers, spontaneous, energetic, and enthusiastic. Life is never boring around them. So you got all these personalities,
yeah.
and depending on who you are, and the more you look into these descriptions of these personalities, the more you may conform to your success.
I like it. I like it. I am going to take that again, though.
Yeah,
Just
I'm gonna
like-
take it again, and because it's hard to remember all your answers for those questions, and
Yeah.
we'll see how true it. We'll see how.
Well, I think if you take it like 3 times, I think that this way you can have a definitive answer. All right, this is me.
Yeah.
Because if you get something different all 3 times, then you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take it 2 out of 3 times, you get the same thing, then you're most likely that. But if you take it 3 times and you get the same thing, okay. So
Yeah. So once you get a grip on your personality and you figure it out, and there's there's infinite
the three
stuff you can read
amigos.
about it. So
So, as I was gonna say, you're walking around. You take these tests. Boom, boom, boom. You're coming into a new beginning. You decide, all right, I'm gonna make this change. Now, when you're deciding what you're gonna do, how do you figure out, or what do you think you would use to figure out if you are a good fit or the correct fit for a company? Say if you didn't want to do something yourself and you wanted to make somebody else rich and work paycheck to paycheck. I'm sorry.
we all do it,
I
man.
can't. I know.
We've
I know.
all
I
done
can't
it in
say that
some
with a straight face
capacity.
unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. How do you figure? In your opinion, what would you say to do if you wanted to make sure you were a good fit for a certain company that you wanted to have a career in?
Is this prior to taking the personality test or after, or does it matter?
Well, you do both. Give me an answer for both, prior to and then after. Now that you've taken the
A
test.
universal answer for both
Mhm.
would be play your strengths. So
Okay.
play your strengths of who you think you are before the test.
Okay.
Play your strengths to who you found out who you were.
Okay.
If they're two different people, maybe you need to figure that out before you go for the position.
Okay.
Or if you just know that you're good at something,
So are you just figuring out who you are, or what about your standards or what you stand for, as opposed to how the company treats its workers and what the company stands for?
Phew.
Yeah. See, it's not all about you.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I've heard a lot more frequently of people going in for a position and end up in a different position
Mm-hmm.
because that's either what they were given or that was the availability.
Okay.
They took it on a whim and
Okay.
they faked it till they maked it.
Mm.
So a lot of people, believe it or not, fall into their career paths by faking it
Okay.
because they're taking the opportunity and then they make the most of it, and it ends up being something that they were good at, or vice versa, they end up getting fired because they were found underneath their desk reading a book or listening to our podcast.
Nice. They were under their desk listening to the podcast. Have you ever? I've talked to a few people before because I've had quite an expansive life. But have you ever heard of anybody when they say they got into a company and they started in one position, and the position they have now, they made this position. There was no position. This wasn't a
Yeah,
position in the
yeah,
company.
yeah.
And
I've heard of
they
something
said
similar.
there's this, and this going. Well, what do we do? That well, for this we need this and this and this. We need this company.
Well, all the
So I'm just gonna-
analytics point to, hey, we're really lacking in this part of the business, or we're lacking production in this part of the business. We need someone to oversee that. They create the position,
They create the
or
job.
they create the idea of the position, and they're handed that because it's their thought process
Yeah.
there. And
they're
if
told to run
someone
with
came
it.
up with that creative, then I'm pretty sure that the boss or whoever's assigning whoever's assigning you your position was like, hey man, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We're gonna make you the head of that position, of that. So that, again, there could be people faking it. There could be people making these positions. There could be people, just conforming to the position, or it is really just their strong suit.
See,
So
but for me, when you talk about faking it till you make it, I think
I know
that
some
just
people,
that just sets you up for failure, yourself up.
not necessarily.
Well, what if you can't fake it and you end up getting found,
Well-
and then you're out of a job?
You learn from your mistake.
This is true. Yeah.
Failure and mistakes are not always a bad thing. We preach that all the time on this
This
podcast.
is true. This is true. But
So.
did you learn to that you have to maybe fake it a little better, or did you learn to maybe I shouldn't fake it and I should actually learn what I'm.
It's hard to say.
So, all right,
Everything
50-50.
is yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
All right. So I just want to kind of talk about everybody that engaged with us this week. It was a very good week with people
awesome.
who engaged with us.
Yes.
We had a bunch of people take the test.
Mm-hmm.
I have some family members that took it. And general consensus say that taking these tests are pretty head on. Like it's accurate, more accurate than not. So
Good engagement. Good engagement. I like that. As we've already seen, I put that out there. Don't follow, don't do this if you're not going to engage.
yeah,
Engage.
I mean it takes 2 seconds sometimes to engage on social media. I don't, some people are scrolling, some people are on the toilet. Who knows what's going on? We can't really throw people
There's
in.
enough corporations and or agencies that you're just a number. Let's not do it to ourselves. We're all flesh and blood.
Well, the whole thing is we're trying to make better versions of ourselves.
You got the
at
lips
this
there for a second there, buddy.
at the same time,
yeah,
we're trying to lift and enlighten others.
Yes.
This is a disclaimer. We're not professionals. We
Nope.
probably say this all the time.
Not a doctor.
It's all experience.
Yes.
And I have bringing more knowledge to the table because I've been doing more research, which is making a better me. So
That's awesome.
with these topics that you give me and I feed off of them, every week I'm learning something new, and it's crazy to see how they all intertwine with each other and how it all ultimately leads to success or happiness. So I'm just glad that we have.
He's finding out more about himself, and he's improving.
I am improving on a daily basis.
Awesome.
My attitudes towards things are changing. My habits are changing. My rituals, everything that we've talked about. So I just want to thank everybody out there that has engaged. The whole exercise of you guys filling out these personality tests were to kind of see who you meshed with in the comment section, to kind of see if there's anybody out there like you. And if there is, maybe you guys engage with each other. If not, it's at least cool to see.
And that's the meme thing, right? That you put out there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So on to Choose Your Destiny. All right, this week's Choose Your Destiny segment is based off of the topic personality.
Okay.
Often celebrities are also recognized as personalities.
Okay.
There's two definitions in the Webster Dictionary. One is who you are, what you're made up, what traits, which we've been talking about. And then a person of celebrity status is a personality.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So the three celebrities I have chosen in the options, I consider them very influential, and they possess extremely different personalities from one another. What you're choosing is one of the three celebrities, which means the one you choose is the one that you sticks around, and the other two go away, which means their movies, their influences, everything above. It's bad, but I picked some heavy hitters, and it was pretty hard for you to come to your conclusion.
It was.
We got 15
based on movies, not personality.
That's okay. That's okay because
got
their
to throw that out
personality
there.
is what put them in the movie. So, when people cast, I'm sure they look at personalities and who people can act like and things like that. So
Yeah, but they also have that same thing
they're
where
fake
they say
personalities too, though.
people play either the Hollywood game or some people don't.
Yeah.
So some people, they only act like that one certain role in all their movies.
Yeah. I think it was Robert De Niro I read. He had a quote. He was like, acting puts such falsehood on people's personalities that it makes them drown who they really are. That goes back to the gods, you choose to be one or the other. You can't be both. That's not true. You can be both. You're not allowing you to be both.
Like I said, I'm good wolf and bad wolf.
Yeah. So, options: A,
Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
B, Denzel Washington.
Ooh.
C, Al Pacino. Choose your destiny.
That's good.
Don't leave no dead space, bro.
I'm not no dead space, but the person I looked at before, I thought it was somebody else. And you said it was a different name too.
No.
Yeah.
I've been reading right
No,
from the
not
script.
from the script. I mean, no, not from that. But from when we were talking about it, used a different name.
Did I really?
Yeah. Wasn't
You sure?
Pacino. You said it was De Niro. We were talking about De Niro.
No. I said one of a quote that I read from De Niro. He wasn't
Yeah,
an
no,
option.
before we were talking about De Niro.
How could you not mix up Pacino and De Niro? I mean, they're in like 5-10 movies together.
I know.
So who's it gonna be there,
Well,
broski?
see, before I chose De Niro, but now I gotta. Let's see, Pacino.
No, we were saying Pacino because we were talking about the movies, and I said Scarface. Heat.
Oh, you said yeah, but I was thinking Heat because of De Niro.
Oh,
not
I got
because
you.
of
So you got a
Pacino.
little confused.
And
Where
De
you gonna
Niro,
go?
De Niro's in Goodfellas. Pacino's not.
Casino.
Yeah. No, Casino, it's De Niro.
Both of them. Aren't
Pacino's no. Casino.
they? Oh,
that's,
Casino is De Niro and
Joe Pesci.
Pesci. I can't believe that. Oh my
That's
god.
why. See, you told me.
I've watched
De
that
Niro.
movie so many times too.
Thank you, dude. Easy 150 times. Ooh, so I might have to. Let's see. But Devil's Advocate was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all based on their movies, right?
No. Personalities.
Oh no, but I mean, are we basing who do we keep on their personalities or based on
Basing
their
it
movies?
on the person as a whole.
As a whole?
Inspiration. If you notice, all three of them are very inspirational speakers.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably, well, pre-COVID, you can probably have seen these people stand up in front of crowds and talk inspiration. So you got DiCaprio, Washington, Pacino.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I know. All right. I'm gonna ding 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 ding. You know what? I'm gonna have to switch.
Go for it.
I'm not a huge fan of the Pacino. I mean, he's got some good stuff. Like I said, Devil's Advocate. All those movies we were talking about were De Niro. I'm gonna have to go with Denzel.
I felt that coming, yeah.
I saw, and I'm gonna tell you.
All
why.
these guys are awesome.
They are beyond awesome.
There's no denying that. This is
But-
just the game we play.
For me, I mean, yes, Equalizer was a great, and I'm a big action guy. Pacino, not so much with the action. He's got some parts,
Yeah.
but not so. DiCaprio, a little bit. Inception was okay, but I'm the action dude. And I just got done watching the other day. What did I watch? Mighty Quinn with Denzel was the Mighty Quinn, and that was a great song. I remember growing up. Ain't nothing like the Mighty Quinn. I was like that, and I just watched his roles, and he's got in his roles Ricochet with
Yeah, that was a great one.
Harry and the Henderson's old boy, John Lithgow. Yes. And Virtuosity with Russell Crowe.
Wow, I forgot about that one.
Yes.
Russell Crowe was in that, huh?
He was the bad guy. He was Sid 2.0 or Sid 6. You're going to hell.
Manscapes 2.0.
Yeah. But he's got a little bit of humor, but he's got that just man on fire, dude.
Yeah. All right.
I got to go with
So we got
Denzel.
15 votes.
Okay.
The majority went with Leonardo DiCaprio. Second place was Denzel. And Lonely Oh Mr. Pacino with 1 vote, who was me.
I know I got to change mine because I
But
voted
we
thinking
also,
it was Robert De Niro.
I only put this post up 4 hours ago. We could have
That's
got
true.
different results if I posted it a long time ago. But it did take me quite a long time to come up with this. This is the hardest. You think it would be the easiest? It was the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing for me to come up with during the episode because I'm trying to come up with good content.
Yeah.
So I put those 3
You don't want just
heavy.
to be, all right, this, or this, and
Yeah.
then the obvious
Yeah.
answer to be this one. Exactly. This.
So I incorporated personality and everything into it. So
well
I'm
done.
so as soon as we're done with this episode, I'll be thinking of next week's starting in 10 minutes. All right. You want to hit him with the email while I find the shout
Before I
outs?
hit you with Choose Your Destiny 2.0 at gmail.com, remember, everything that you may be going through, you got a personality for this, you want to figure out who you are, if you fit in here, if you fit in there. Once you find out who you are, okay, and this is just my opinion, obviously, this isn't fact, you should never, ever change who you are to fit in anywhere. I understand with what DJ said earlier. You know, your personality changes, you grow, or you could have multiple personalities, but you should never. This is me. Never change. I am the same way. Whoever I'm hanging out with, wherever I go. Outside of there being young ones around, the filter may come on, the language might not be so colorful, but you should always, 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 always be yourself. Do not change for someone. Do not get with someone and you find a little bit of stability, so you just depend and you adhere and you you clay face and become what they are. No, remain yourself. You know, that you could almost push that to where, you know, they say men and women try to change each other when they get in relationships. Well, that's not who you fell in love with in the beginning, was the person you try to change them to. No, you fell in love with who they are. You might want to, you know, polish it up a little bit, act a certain way when you go somewhere. You can't always be, when we go out to a restaurant, I can't bring my axe in there and a loincloth. Oh, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
what is up for tonight's feast, wench? You know, and slam it down. I can't do that right now. You know, it's not back in the days. You got to act a certain way. You got to act like you got some sense. Okay? So that, I just wanted to say that before DJ hits us with the
Yeah, we're gonna get into the
podcasters.
pod shout outs here.
Yes.
This has been an awesome segment. Not only because we are lifting others' podcasts up and wishing them success, but it has put me in touch with people across the world. It has put me in touch with other podcasters.
Yes.
It has. I'm literally out here talking to different people from across the
It's
world.
awesome, isn't
It
it?
is great, man. It's it's definitely rewarding. So let's get right into it, man.
Yes.
We're gonna open up with the Car Talk with Taz D Angel. Taz D Angel. It's on Spotify. I talk about real life situations, issues, relationships, communication, family, and much more. Try to change the world one listener at a time. All right, we got up next. We have No Excuses, the Transitional Changes Mission Incorporated on iHeart.com. We are a nonprofit that have a podcast. On our show, we talk about our mission, which is to end family homelessness and current events. Really
Nice.
cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Memories of Us podcast, uh, Grief Support for Men. My podcast is based around my nonprofit Memories of Us LTD. We offer grief support for men. We showcase preliminary stories of men and some women who have struggled with loss and grief and all different challenges that came along with it. That is another great one. Wow, some of these people are out here really just trying to
They
make a
got some
change,
good
man.
stuff, yeah.
And that's awesome. Next one is Class Half Full, a podcast on Anchor. Let me just dial back to the last one. You can find that at Memories of Us podcast.transistor.fm. I'm sorry about that.
Gotcha.
So next one was Class Half Full, a podcast on Anchor. We are a scientific principle podcast and where they came from. The first season is about forensic techniques. Episode 3 dropping next Friday, and it's based on decomposition of time and time of death. Next one is How Did I Get Here? But it's on buzzsprout.com. How Did I Get Here? I interview ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary things in their life. That is excellent. I definitely, all these last 3 or 4 of them, I'm definitely going to put them in my rotation tomorrow at work.
Okay.
Let's see here. A podcast about all things automotive. All right, so we're getting a little away from inspiration, which is cool
That's
because
fine.
everybody's got to
That's-
have some
yeah.
hobbies. So
You
you
gotta
can
have a niche.
yes, a niche. The philosopher or the place or group of things. That was me.
The place.
Yeah, that was me
that was
butchering.
bad.
That was me butchering
Oh,
the philosopher's name.
That's wow.
So theweeklydriver.com is where you find it. It's a podcast, all things automotive.
Okay.
The new Outspoken podcast is here. I created this podcast so I can share information about current events going on in the U.S. today and render my opinion on those events. Outspoken, a podcast on Anchor. We'll do a few more here. what we got here. We are a podcast that talks movies, particularly ones my partner hasn't seen before, in a lighthearted manner. SP Film Viewers. spfilmviewers.podbean.com. And we'll do one more for this week. The Misfit Hero Podcast is a podcast about people helping people. Hey, it sounds a lot like us. We focus on regular people trying to change their communities for the positive. That is definitely us. We can be found at www.misfit-heroes.com/episodes. The Misfit Hero Podcast.
Nice.
And that wraps up our podcast shout-outs for the week. We hope you all success and just having a good old time. And, a lot of them today that we went over are all inspired to make changes. So
That's awesome.
one person at a time, one podcast at a time.
That's what I'm saying.
We can change this world together, because podcasts are the trendy thing right now, and it's a huge thing going on.
7.5 plus billion people on the planet. We got a lot of work to do. Come on.
Yes, people.
got
Let's
a
do
lot
it.
of
Let's
work.
get together and lift everybody up. So we're gonna hit you with the quote of the week.
Slap you right in the
I'm
face
just
with
kind of
this
gonna
quote.
take my finger like this, like a finger to the telephone book, because I haven't picked one out, but I have a bunch on the screen.
Do you even
and-
remember what a telephone book looks like?
Yes, I do.
When was the last
I
time
used
you
to sit
saw
on
it?
them because I was always short.
We always so you're still short.
Yeah, I got one underneath me right now. I haven't thrown it in the recycling bin because I thought I could use it.
There you go.
Boom, Alan Watts.
There you go.
For there is never anything but the present, and if one cannot live there, I'm sorry, hold on, let me make it bigger. It's cutting the words off here. All right, let's start that over. Let's start that over. Alan Watts. For there is never anything but the present, and if one cannot live there, one cannot live anywhere.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Alan Watts.
Alan Watts.
Yes, sir. He's a philosopher, I believe.
Okay.
All right, that's this week's episode. Do you want to add anything?
As I'm set, no, we're good. Let us know. These are new microphones. We're first-time units. We listened before, and the sound was good, so you should be able to understand
on our
us.
end.
On our end. And when we did recording, as we recorded the playback and whatnot, we're getting anxious.
We're improving.
Yes,
we're becoming better versions of our podcast.
But we're reaching more people. And
we are reaching more people. We're in 5 countries now, man.
Is it?
At least to my knowledge. There may be more.
All right.
I don't know how analytics and statistics and all that stuff works out, but it shows that we have reached 5 different countries.
Awesome.
And
that's awesome.
yeah, I never thought I would be able to do that.
Yeah. No. Should we tell them about the one thing we talked about the change, just so we can show ourselves we're a little different?
Go for it, man.
All right, I'm going to tell you. All right, so I've been doing a lot of research, more so than before when I decided what we were going to call this. We will, within this week, as soon as I know I just have to hit the edit button and change it, but we will be going from,
rebranding the name.
Yes, rebranding, only because I looked on in there and there was a lot of
few
forges.
Of them. Yeah.
But there are no.
But there's no forges like ours.
That's right. There's no forge like our forge. It's going to be called, we'll be changing it. It's going to be Forge 2.0. And
that sounds edgy.
Well, better version.
Yeah, the next version.
The next version. This is the better version.
Sweet.
So I did out of 52 to 57 different Forge podcasts out there. Apparently, Forge and something else podcasts.
Yeah, some combination of form.
Some combination of form, but there's no Forge 2.0.
We've gotten better.
Yes.
I'd say we've gotten better.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. We're still working on getting
things.
better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
We have some interesting interviews coming up, so stay tuned.
We do. And we still
all types of stuff.
We got this going. We might have something coming up too, where DJ and I review stuff. We're looking.
Yeah, we're looking at making a spin-off. You can see that when we start to talk pop culture, movies, and things, we can really dig in, and I find it entertaining listening to those types of podcasts myself.
Yeah, reviewing things.
Yeah, and I feel like we can add some substance to that. So.
And we're also looking into a radio show.
Yeah.
DJ found something.
Maybe
for
eventually
me,
we can fire up a radio station, because I've been looking into that as well.
What's the difference?
Being on a radio station, someone else's, and having our own.
Well, yeah.
Which what we do when we fire up the station
Uh-huh.
as we feature our podcasts
Yeah.
plus many other people's
Okay.
podcasts. So
Versus when we work for somebody else, though. See, there you go. You're trying to make somebody else rich.
no, not
Okay.
necessarily.
All right.
If we're the head
Okay.
guys.
Oh, yeah. All right.
If
All
anything,
right.
people
Yeah.
would be
Well, yeah,
investing into us.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, because that and I was talking to DJ the other day. I'm just gonna let you in this little Easter egg, if you will, and
Easter Sunday.
yeah, I don't remember. I don't know the name of the show, but she follows me on my other Instagram, and it's the 9 extra to 9 to. Oh, I'm butchering it. It's a news show or whatnot in Australia.
We'll post it right up on our page.
I'll
for
find
other
the name and
people
I'll
to-
post it.
Yeah.
But they got me the idea of maybe even turning this into like a show, like an
legit-
Ellen or Oprah.
Well,
Well, I'm not.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but,
like that type of show. I mean, not like we're
Yeah.
gonna be,
yeah.
hey, that's
hey. By the way, one of my personality matches was Oprah.
yeah, whatever. Get out of here.
Hey, I
he
didn't
had
make
terrible.
I didn't
people.
make the rules.
He paid somebody they drew these little characters. In
Yeah,
there.
I didn't make the rules.
But there's just some Easter eggs on you, a little thing, a little change that we want to know, so you're not shocked. You're like, oh my God, where'd they go? We can't find us. No, we are just a little changing because I want to make sure that everyone will know exactly who we are outside of our wacky personalities. The name, they'll be able to find the name, and I am still working on a website that's a little more difficult than I thought. And
Hey man,
people are pricey with wanting to do that.
hey man, we're getting somewhere. We're doing
Oh yes,
something.
no doubt. Yeah,
And
I'm loving it.
I've had multiple people tell us that we've inspired them. So
That's awesome. That's what I want to hear.
End result, if that's all we end up with, which don't believe me, between the two
Don't
of
believe
us,
you?
I said,
Oh,
but do believe
okay,
me.
all right.
And if I did, we could go on it out the don't.
I don't know. We like to say things and be raw.
Yeah, we like to be raw. You won't see much editing on our
No.
podcast, but
Because I don't know how yet.
we'll get there. Hey, I'm like Barack Obama. I'm like John Cusack, Ben Affleck,
You got John Cusack
Sean
too?
Connery,
Man, and he got Sean Connery.
Sally
What the
Schultz.
hell?
She shows down by the seashore.
Man, all right.
Jennifer Lawrence, Maya Angelou. Hey man, go
Whatever.
check this out, guys.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah, that
go do
pod-
your personality test.
Yes.
You will not be let down. It's cool
Not at
stuff.
all. It was good
Cool
stuff.
stuff. All right, man. That's
it.
it for this week's
Yeah.
episode. We look to see you guys next week. Peace.
Have a good one, man. Later.